Hello again. This is COMM 101, 84N, and these are your critiques of the process speech. And let me clear something off my computer here. All right. These are the critiques of the process speech. And before I start, every time I do a video for you folks, you're required to tell me you watched it. Well, if you have, you're sure not paying any attention to what I'm saying. And the last time I sent one out, only one person in the class responded. And we still have a couple of people in the class that haven't provided a fantasy name. And that was way back in week 1. So it's fairly obvious that some of you are paying no attention whatsoever to what you're being told in this class. And I am telling you here and now, it will affect your grade drastically. Say something once, I don't expect to have to keep saying it. So here is your final. All right, first of all, the audience intro. Do not take a swish pan of the audience. Not like that, and I'm supposed to count and figure out, and there are other people in the audience other than your audience. There are kids or other people. I can't tell who they are. I can't tell if they're old enough. None of that. You have been instructed that the people are to walk in front of your camera, the shot you are going to use when you do your video. Don't turn it around and have them walk in front of it. Walk in front of where you will be standing. Say their name and either I am over 21 or give their exact age. I don't care which. You never show the audience again after that. Point 1 then, the audience intro. Point 2, the composition of your picture. I don't care what kind of a speech you're doing. I don't care what you're holding up or what your visuals are. This right here, bust line to an inch or two above the head, is the only shot I want to see in your entire video. The only shot. You've got to come in this close, move the camera. Don't just zoom in, because when you zoom in, the microphone is still back there on the camera. Bust shot, bust line to the top of the head. The only shot I ever want to see in any of your videos. If you hold up something that you're showing the audience, send me a copy of it. If you're showing PowerPoints, send me a copy of it. Don't zoom in or out and do those kinds of things. All right, outline posting. Never, but never, but never post an outline in Connect. I've covered this. Everything I've said so far, I've covered in other videos that I've made. Do not post in Connect. Any visual item or any document you want me to see, send it to me from your Ivy Tech email address to my Ivy Tech email address. All right. Credibility. It's on every one of the judging sheets. Credibility means, why are you giving this speech? What makes you qualified to give this speech? Kind of what makes you an expert, but that's pushing it a little bit. And we've covered that you can do this by simply saying something as simple as, all my life I have been interested in this topic, and I've done a lot of research on it, or it's a hobby I have, or this is something I practice. It's simple and it's short. But you people are going in and giving speeches, and I don't know where you got the knowledge that you have. Now, that leads us into another thing, and that is sourcing. Some of you are making just outright statements about money, about items, about things you're talking about with no source. Now, I don't care if you've sourced it in your speech notes. That does no good whatsoever for your audience. You must give a source as part of the speech. So if you're up there and saying that since 1994, there have been 1,200 new plants open to address this problem. Okay. How do you know that? Where do you get that information? You need to tell us as part of the speech. All right. Credibility and sourcing. Dress. When you dress, obviously we want you to dress up for this thing, but be a little careful about what you wear. For the ladies, maybe jewelry that's dangling and distracting. For the guys, watch that you don't have shirts on that are wild and crazy, and lots of colors and lots of symbols. And basically, you don't want to distract from you when you're giving your speech. All right? Cameras on a tripod. You are supposed to have a tripod. Our cameras are bouncing all over. They're zooming in and out. Your camera people are playing, I don't know, Stephen Lucas. And don't do that. You cannot do that. This shot, it never changes. Camera doesn't bounce up and down unless we're having an earthquake. It stays exactly the same. You must do that. All right. We sent you an email message. You may not repeat a topic or anything that comes close to a topic you have already done. So if you've done a topic on rabbits, you cannot now do a topic on knitting sweaters from rabbit fur. Nope. It's a similar topic. You've got to be more than one-dimensional in this class and a lot of your other classes, and you only will grow in this class if you pick different topics each time. You need to respond to this message saying you watched it, and make sure that you do that. There'll be a message that'll come out with this that'll give you a deadline by which you have to respond. And finally, don't read your speech. Don't read your speech. I am watching people that are doing, and then I went to the store and I bought 12 bags of this, and then they look at the audience, they go back and they read more. It's off camera. I mean, I can tell. I work in television. I can tell when you're reading, you got your notes supposedly in front of you. Look down. That's where you have notes, and don't read the notes either. So whether you have the speech over there or you have it down here, don't read it. All right, let's start. Let's start with Dutch. All right, Dutch, you have a great look, but the shirt you're wearing is very busy. But you also, and that's what I just was talking about distracting from what you're saying. You have a really nice communication style. You want to capitalize on that. You had the wrong audience introduction. You tend to rock in and out a little bit when you speak. Be careful of that. You need a little bit tighter on this composition. You're still kind of loose on that. Your camera is moving too much as you talk. Tell your audience, do not respond to anything you say. Now, this is not only for Dutch, it's for everybody. Talk to me, the camera. Do not talk to some of your audience over there, and some of them over there, and some of them over there, all that over there. I can't tell eye contact unless you're talking at me. If I was in the room with you, I would be able to tell you're actually looking at somebody in the audience. So for the purposes of this class, talk to your camera. Talk to your camera. All right? That's crucial. We'll get rid of this phone call here in just a second. All right. Now, what else? Talk to your... Tell your audience not to respond. You tend to drop your voice at the end of the sentence. So stay strong, beginning to end. Do that. You have too many unexplained terms and concepts. So when you're talking about something like you were talking about, make sure that you do not get involved in any kind of... then you take the Stanifred and you put it in with the Quick Muck. We don't know what that is. And unless you're holding it up or showing a picture, we don't know what you're talking about. So don't use terms and stuff like that that'll cause us problems. All right. Slow down a lot. You talk kind of fast. I was interested, but you made it sound too complicated. You know, a lot of people are interested in your topic, but if you make it sound like, well, you got to remember this and don't forget that, and then you do this, then you have to be on a 45-degree angle to do that, and this arm has to go this way. It's like, God, if it's that complicated, you know, I mean, I'd kind of like to do it, but no, you make it too hard. You look like you're reading something posted somewhere to the camera left. And also, finish strong, not something like, now that's something, I think you did something like, that's all I have time for. Well, that's kind of a weak closing. All right, next up is Albin, A-L-L-B-I-N. Nice presentation. This, you need to soften just a little bit so that you are talking to us. You seem to be talking at us. Be conversational when you do this. Tone down what I call the lecture style. Be friendly. Talk to us a little bit. You have a great topic, and there's a way to do that topic and talk to the audience. Whatever you posted in Connect, I think it was a copy of the audience applauding at the end. First of all, don't post anything in Connect other than the speech. And secondly, it was a MP4 file, which is very difficult for me to get to and unload. All right. See if you can get more light on you. You're kind of in a dull, dark place. Get a little more light on you. It'll brighten things up a little bit. Lock the camera down. It's moving constantly while you're talking. We'll see. What about sources when you're speaking? You gave a lot of information. A lot of it needed a source, and you're not the source for what you were talking about. You may be the source for how you do it, but how you learned about that or some of the facts that you gave in your speech, we need a source for that. Don't get too tied to your outline. You're down here a lot and you don't look up a lot. Look up. Talk to me. So don't get so tied that you kind of look like you're kind of reading it. I know you weren't because I followed it, both of your outlines, and checked that way. All right. Don't throw away your parting shot. You said something like, "Good luck, everyone." No, don't do that. Make sure it's clear when you're done. And in spite of all of that, you did a very, very good speech. All right. Next up is Shadow. Great job. You have a natural speaking ability. That's great. You have the wrong audience intro. Stand still when you speak. You move around a lot. I obviously exaggerate it, but, we want to focus on you, not why are you moving so much. You have the wrong camera shot, and your speech ran long. You also were upstaged by your animal, and you want to make sure that you had a very nice approach to this process kind of speech, but your dog undid your speech when it squealed when you cut. Okay. This was a good speech, but your ending just died. Now, it may seem obvious in your speech, but establish your credibility. You're doing all this stuff. You're telling us all this stuff. Who are you? Do you do that for a living? Do you work someplace where that happens? Give us something to establish your credibility. Next up is no fantasy name. So here you go. I got one set of notes. They weren't notes. They weren't an outline. It was nothing. And then to make it worse, you read that word for word while you were going. Absolutely the wrong audience intro. You must slow down. Don't touch your hair while speaking. Your camera is shooting up and into your face. Your shirt is highly distracting. The camera movement is distracting from your speech. It's interfering with anyone being able to pay any attention to what you're doing. Your speech was way too short. Your grammar is faulty. This is too complicated to understand. In other words, you have a topic that is impossible to understand, and you are always speaking to a general audience. So if you were speaking to a group of med school students, and I know that's not the topic of your speech, but if you were speaking to a group of med school students, you could be a little more specific. You're talking to a general audience. Don't get so specific with details that I'm going to tune out because I'm not the least bit interested. And as I said, you were reading this speech. This was too complicated to understand and follow, and it was far too short. All right, next up is cricket. Cricket, good topic with good information. Way to go. You also have some problems. They have that swish pan of the audience. Don't start until the camera stops moving. And as I told you, in the way this is supposed to be done, the camera won't be moving at all. Please understand why you have to do it that way. It causes you problems in other parts of your speech. You have vocalized pauses. You're not sourcing your facts. You were 3 minutes in before you use your first source. 3 minutes before you use a source. It demanded sources way before that. You then become selective in what you cite. There are some places where you needed sources, but you didn't always have them, but you did have on occasion. Relax. Relate to your audience that you're talking to. you tend to come off too stiff, too, you know, put it this way. Everyone is a little intimidated by giving a speech. You kind of look like you're terrified. Just relax. It's tough for you guys that are doing this with the family for an audience, but you know, relax a little bit. They're your friends. They're trying to help you, and embrace that. Just don't let it get you down. All right, that was cricket. Finally, Hoosier. This was a very interesting topic. You have a natural communication ability. This was a topic that demanded a lot of visuals, and the camera was, for the most part, the visuals aren't going to make it because they were close-up kind of visuals. I don't want you to change the camera shot, but you held up some kind of a piece of paper diagram. I don't have a copy of it, so I have no idea what you were referring to. And you're holding up stuff, and we can't see it. Now, that would require a camera to zoom in. Send me a picture of it. All right. You have the wrong shot composition. You need to send me your visuals. Watch your vocalized pauses, the you know. I have a tendency to say all right a lot. So it's not only the uhs and kind of things. Sometimes we use vocalized pauses that are words. You know, like Northern California and the California people. All right. What do we have here? You catch the eye of some. Oh, yeah. Your audience even reacted to this. You said something about if you do this thing that you were talking to them about, you might catch the eye of some long-legged gal. Oh, man, please. You talk about sexism. Well, what if you could catch the eye of some hairy guy? You know, don't do that. I mean, you may have thought that it was funny. Humor in a speech class is very tough, so be very, very careful. You talked about, and I don't know what it was, Dremel tool. I don't know what a Dremel tool is. You've got to, when you do that, you want to say, this is a Dremel tool, and it does this. And then you may even want to spell it so I understand what you just said. Then that your way, you're not saying, you use your stanifrat. Well, okay, what's a stanifrat? Even if you hold it up, I still don't know what it does. Okay, so explain a lot of the terms that you did. I think you had something that Telms. You have a lot of inside terms that need that kind of explanation. You only had one outline. It was not labeled. There's no audience intro. The instructions followed. Your outline was posted in Connect. And don't forget to establish your credibility. All right. I will be sending out a piece of paper that tells you when you need to reply to me on all of this. Make sure you do. Remember not to use a topic you've already used or anything close to it in your next speech. Your next speech is your informational speech. Read the directions. Make sure you get everything done on time. If you have any questions, call me in my office. You have the number. All right, we'll talk to you next time.